Hello there. Welcome to the Harley Carnes podcast. Harley on the headlines. We're going to take a look at some of the stories of the day. Might have a thought or two about them. We'll see. You know, we never know what the day's going to offer when we come in and start working on these stories. So it's kind of fun. Get the surprises that come with the daily news. Anyway, sure hope you'll push the like, follow, subscribe functions, and tell somebody about it. And I would appreciate it. It makes a big difference. A couple of bullet points on Iran today. Iran is so intent on keeping its people from getting words and pictures out to the world about the situation there. They shut down the internet in Iran. They still get it out somehow, a little bit anyway, but it's been a month. No internet in Iran, and businesses owned by Iranians that depend on what they can do online, those businesses are crumbling. Iran's supreme leader tells you something, when that's what he calls himself, says the Iranian government will protect, as he put it, their nuclear and missile capabilities. It's another way, actually an excellent way, of saying that one day they still intend to bomb the U.S. and Israel with nuclear weapons. We have Democrats in Washington who clearly want to wait until the supreme leader's finger hovers over the launch button to do anything. That's about enough on Iran, except that while President Trump and Democrats in Congress joust over the War Powers Act and any deadlines entailed in it, it's become clear that whether the ceasefire technically ended the war or not, the Pentagon is not done in Iran. Based on what Iran's radical leadership has just said, there are still targets that need to be taken out. Clearly, negotiation is not going to work. There's no joy in saying that, but it is a fool who ignores the snarling wolf when its jaws are snapping. In Ukraine, there is gratitude to Melania Trump for taking the lead in efforts to get Russia to let abducted children from Ukraine go back home. She's had some success. There's a long way to go, and Ukraine has officially thanked her for her efforts. Russia has been kidnapping Ukrainian children, taking them to Russia and indoctrinating them, brainwashing them into the Russian way of thinking. There are thousands, more than 20,000 Ukrainian kids who've been taken. The First Lady's value is in keeping the attention on the scandal and holding pressure on Russia to return them. Thus far, a little more than 2,000 are back home. By the way, just in case you were ready to buy into the notion that the Ukraine war is essentially over and that Russia has won, there is this. In Moscow, near the Kremlin, where the annual massive show of military power known as the May 9th Victory Parade is scheduled this year, the word is it'll be a tiny token show compared to most years. Why? Because it's likely as not Ukraine may bomb the end of World War II celebration with drones. The fact is, Russia's having a hard time. Ukraine is now hitting targets more than 900 miles into Russia, including oil, military, and electric power targets. Forget about getting more Russian men to volunteer for the military. Russia has been forced to draft ethnic men from populations and send them to die like cannon fodder into Ukraine's meat grinder. Ukraine has been able to increase its production of drones and missiles, which have been very effective against Russian military. And now the grand annual display of Russian military might has been shrunk to a near sideshow with aging, last-generation weaponry on display. This is May Day, a day of celebration for the far left. It's a communist holiday. Activists from the far left gather for rallies and protests in Turkey, France, Mexico, Cuba, the Philippines, Indonesia, and yes, of course, in the U.S. Here in this country, of course, the protests are mostly against Trump, his policies, and against billionaires generally. That's because they have zero imagination. It's also because they see the world as though looking at it through a telescope backward. The kiwi is back. A lot of people had thought the kiwi bird, native symbol of New Zealand, was in danger of extinction, or very nearly so. It's been a century since it was seen in numbers. Once upon a time, millions of them were on the island nation. Now only 70,000 well scattered. There's been a move, maybe foolhardy, but certainly hopeful, to bring the kiwi back to the capital city of Wellington so it can live there. It's a funny-looking bird. Wings too short to do much, no tail, can't fly. Whiskers on its face, and a beak that looks too long for the little thing to lift. They are ground-bound, and their numbers in the wild shrink by about 2% every year. Their numbers in bird sanctuaries continue to grow, however, so there is progress. 250 kiwis now live in Wellington, and people have been like ranks of soldiers trying to protect the bird. They have to search these days, for example, to find any rats to kill because they've killed off the rats to protect the kiwi. We need to get some of those folks to come to New York City. I got a question for you. Do you know how a hailstone is formed? You might. It is interesting, though. It starts with knowing a little bit about a big thunderstorm, which is characterized by columns of air, one rising high where it's cooler, even cold, and one full of moisture that comes down like a high-speed elevator. A hailstone is born as a speck of dust in a thunderstorm that rises high and ice forms around that dust. As it rises, it picks up more moisture. And as a tiny ice ball, it gets heavier until it's heavy enough to fall toward the ground. Then on the way down, it gets caught in the updraft, and up it goes again, picking up more moisture, getting bigger, not round and smooth, but covered in little spikes of ice, until, once again, it's heavy enough to fall and pick up more moisture. Then back into the updraft, bigger ice ball, and down, then up, then down. And sometimes you wind up with a golf ball, a baseball, and in Texas, one the size of a football, more than 7 inches in diameter when it was found on the ground. Don't even know how much of it had melted before it was found by a storm chaser named Val Castor. The storm that produces ice balls that big is truly destructive. That kind of hail kills cattle, ruins vehicles. It'll make your car look like it was attacked by a guy with a ball-peen hammer. It'll turn a farm field full of crops into mush, and it's bad news if you're in an airplane that flies through it, if you survive it. And then there is the story this week that stretched from Atlanta to Portland, Oregon. 173 people got on the plane in Atlanta. 174 got off in Portland. The stowaway was a new baby girl, 5.5 pounds, who was literally born on final approach to land. A couple of EMTs who happened to be on board helped deliver the baby, ignoring the flight attendant who suggested they return to their seat and fasten their seatbelt for landing. Ashley Blair, meanwhile, was on the floor, covered with a blanket from a passenger, straining to have her baby. Little Brielle Renee eased out into the world with a good, healthy cry, and one EMT used one of her own shoelaces to tie off the umbilical cord. Applause bounced off the aluminum walls of that Delta plane, and everybody deplaned with the joy that goes with the miracle of birth. That'll do it. Thank you for dropping in. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you'll come back. Bring some folks with you. You've given me a little bit of your time, and I really do appreciate that. Also worth mentioning that we're found on Spotify, video and audio, X, Facebook, and of course YouTube. I am Harley Carnes. Until next time, do yourself a favor. Make some good, conscious choices in your life. Make a decision to be happy. And fly safe. It's the only way to get there.